Hi. Okay, we're going to make the star. It's not a star, it's a snowflake, isn't it? Okay, what's great about the snowflake is that it has a lot of lines of symmetry and it's going to have a lot of congruent shapes. Now, if you're not sure what lines of symmetry are, you're going to be learning about that from your teacher this year. But let's just stop for a second and we're going to go back and, oh, we got to clean this up big time, don't we? So we're going to clean this up, and if you saw the earlier video, you saw that we took our time. Oh, and we got to be careful not to crack it, but we're only taking one finger to clean it up. Okay? And you can get these points where they're looking nice. Some of when we cut them out, sometimes they have issues, and we have to fix them. They're not all perfect, but that's okay because that's what makes the piece unique, and you're unique, and it's just unique all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to take my time and I am going to smooth all this out. Okay, take your time and do a good job. Now, before you actually do this piece, you probably, I know you should, draw the lines of symmetry. So now I'm going to go ahead and do this. How many lines of symmetry do you think are there? Let's find out. So the first line, you can barely see it, is going to go straight down. That means that technically, if I cut this paper in half, I could fold it going that way. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get this made today. So you can follow my lead if you want to. The second line of symmetry is right there. Make sure your line is straight. I kind of got this wet. It makes it a little more difficult. I should have thought about that. The next line of symmetry goes to the, so they technically went through all the points. See, they all should cross in the middle. Actually, there's more than just 3 lines of symmetry. There's actually 3 more. This one goes from this crevice to that crevice. See that? That's your next one. Now this crevice to this crevice is another line. Oops, I knew that was going to happen. And then this one to here. See that? So the first thing you need to do is make sure you know what you're doing before you put this on your clay. There are 6 lines of symmetry in this shape. Okay? Now, okay, let's pretend like I've smoothed it all out. Okay? Now I got to draw my lines of symmetry. Okay? Now, I don't have a straight edge. I love using those straight edges. If you have anything like this, that works great. But since you don't have any today, I'm going to draw it freehand. It's a little more difficult, but you can do it. It's a little off, but there's the first one. See how I'm keeping this on my paper? Oops, that's off, isn't it? I'm kind of at a disadvantage because I'm trying to tape this, and it's a little bit more difficult. You'll have an easier time, I promise. Let's start from this side. There's 1, there's 2. There's 3. There's 4. There's 5. And there's 6. Okay, I had trouble because I was trying to do it while I was standing up. So you might want to just take your time, and you can do that. Actually, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to show you another thing. You can actually use the paper too. So line it up like that and keep it close to the paper. Much better, huh? Don't you think? Okay, so I'm going to line up the points straight across. And I'm drawing very lightly. Don't draw too dark, too heavy, because it'll go too deep. So I'm just barely dragging the pencil across. See that? Okay, now I'm going to do the inside ones. Remember these? Okay, and there's how many of those again? There's 3 more of like that, right? So there's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Look at that. So how many lines of symmetry did we have? Do you remember? Oh, yes, 6. Okay, now the congruent shapes. Now, earlier in another video, I showed you how to use the different tools. Okay, this is where it gets fun. So you can make this the same size, same shape. That's actually called congruent. So all these shapes are congruent because they're the same size and the same shape. Congruent means that. That's what that means. So I'm making congruent shapes. And you don't have to do it exactly like mine, but you do want to put congruent shapes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. Don't go too deep, remember? If you go too deep, remember what happens? Yeah, it's going to break. So be careful. Congruent shapes, same size, same shape. Lines of symmetry, we had 6. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm actually going to take this, put that in the center. Okay, I'm also I want to do one more thing before I'm done with this. I'm going to press this down. I love this shape. But you can do it how you want. The only thing I ask is that you don't go too deep. And that you put congruent shapes and you draw the lines of symmetry. Okay? The last thing you're going to do, make sure your name and your chair number is on here. You're going to flip this over very carefully, okay? And write your name. Now, I've got all these lines, so I'm going to have to make a spot for that. So I want to go pretty light with my name. So, Dawn. Oh, that's 2. Okay, there you go. And I could put 2000 in if you have space. I bet you won't have space, though. And I'm going to put my name here and my chair number. Okay, then I'm going to put it back on the paper. And I'm going to put this where my teacher tells me to. I hope you enjoyed this video. And good luck. And take your time.